What was meant to be a routine traffic stop turned into civil rights and legal knowledge showdown. Gilbert Estrada, an experienced commercial driver, was pulled over for speeding. Deputy Michael Kelly demanded ID from Estrada's son, but Estrada resisted. This is because he knew that the law doesn't compel passengers to present their identification without the suspicion of a crime. This episode covers the incident involving Gilbert Estrada during a traffic stop in Yorktown, Texas, where issues of identification and rights during police encounters were brought to light. The details of this case are brought to us by the YouTube channel Don Andre Investigations. Be sure to check out the description below and give them the credit they deserve. You can watch the full video.
How we doing, sir? Deputy Kelly, DeWitt County Sheriff's Office. Reason for your stop is your speed. You know about how fast you're traveling?
Do I know how fast I was traveling?
Yeah.
Do I need to answer that question?
I would like for you to.
Yeah, well, I would like not to make any statements.
Okay. I may have your driver's license and insurance card. You have a ID on your driver's license? Have I committed a crime? I can ask you at any time to identify yourself. Am I under suspicion of committing a crime? No.
Yeah, Texas is not a stop and identify.
February 11th, 2018. Gilbert Estrada was driving his son around the small town of Yorktown, Texas to assist one of his drivers who was experiencing mechanical issues. Mr. Estrada is a licensed commercial driver and is well aware of what the law provides regarding his rights if he were to be stopped by law enforcement. As they were driving through Yorktown, Deputy Michael Kelly from the DeWitt County Sheriff's Office pulled them over, citing that they had been speeding. What began as a routine traffic stop turned into a legal battle when the deputy asked Mr. Estrada and his son for their identification.
How we doing, sir? Deputy Kelly, DeWitt County Sheriff's Office. Reason for your stop is your speed. You know about how fast you're traveling?
Do I know how fast I was traveling?
Yeah.
Do I need to answer that question?
I would like for you to.
Yeah, well, I would like not to make any statements.
Okay. I may have your driver's license and insurance card. You have a ID on your driver's license? Have I committed a crime? I can ask you at any time to identify yourself. Am I under suspicion of committing a crime? No.
Yeah, Texas is not a stop and identify state.
Do you have a driver's license or identification on you?
Am I required to answer the question?
Yes, you are required to answer the question.
Well, I don't think he needs to identify if he has committed.
Deputy Kelly began the stop and immediately requested Mr. Estrada's driver's license and insurance. Mr. Estrada, newly instructed in the laws of Texas, had relinquished his identification. Things went south, however, when Kelly drew a line in the sand and demanded an ID from Mr. Estrada's son, who merely happened to be along for the ride. As one who is aware of Texas law, Mr. Estrada and his son argued that no statute mandates a passenger to give his identification unless he has a reasonable belief that someone on the vehicle has either committed or is committing a crime. Mr. Estrada felt as if the officer did not have knowledge of the laws relevant to the situation. He asked if the deputy knew whether Texas Penal Code 3802 applies, stating that a person is only entitled or obligated to identify himself or herself when lawfully arrested or detained based on some suspicion of a crime. That surprised Deputy Kelly. He hesitated and tried to insist that he had the right to demand identification at any time, but Mr. Estrada retorted back to the fact that unless his son was being accused of a crime, he was not compelled to give ID. The argument soon heated up as Mr. Estrada's son, confident in his knowledge, asked if he was under accusation of any crime. Deputy Kelly, appearing a little inconclusive, said that he had the right to ID anyone when making a traffic stop.
Are you familiar with Penal Code 38?
Yeah,
What does it say?
very well. You have an ID on your not?
You need to lawfully arrest him.
No, I don't have to lawfully arrest him. I don't have to. He's being detained on a traffic violation.
Yeah, he's not driving.
It doesn't matter. He's being detained at a traffic stop. I have the right to identify anybody in the vehicle.
Unless you suspect him of a crime. That's 3802.
That's what I'm gonna do, to see if he has any warrants or anything for his arrest.
Well, you suspect him of having any warrants?
Could be, yeah.
Well, you have to articulate your reasonable articulable suspicion of a crime.
You're breaking the law twice.
Well, you're talking to
Okay.
me then.
Yeah. Okay,
He doesn't
he's
need
he's a passenger in a vehicle that the law's being broke in. Okay, you were speeding, number one. Number two, you're
allegedly speeding.
allegedly speeding.
Allegedly.
80
That's your allegation.
84 and a 70 is
That's
not
your
alleged.
allegation. I haven't been convicted
Okay.
of that.
Your registration is out on your vehicle, so I could arrest you if I wanted to.
I don't think that's an arrestable offense.
Yes, it is. The only two non-arrestable offenses: speeding and open container. Which you have a speeding violation, and you don't have an open container, but you do have expired registration. I can have this vehicle towed, and you can be arrested.
To be told, I have to be convicted of the crime.
You are convicted. You're driving a vehicle.
I haven't been to court.
The officer, visibly worked up, steered the attention back to Mr. Estrada and said he was stopped for speeding. Mr. Estrada refused to back down and responded by saying he was only allegedly speeding, which clearly caught the officer off guard. Mr. Estrada's answers were measured but forceful and seemed to help drive the officer more and more ambiguous about his situation. Frustrated and looking for a way to get out of the confrontation, Deputy Kelly said he could identify anyone he wanted and that both Mr. Estrada and his son were instructed to comply. Mr. Estrada asked at this point to speak to a supervisor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have an ID on you or not?
Am I required to give it?
You are required to give it.
Do you have a supervisor?
I sure do.
Okay, would like to talk to him.
Okay, I will let you talk to him, and if I have to, I'll have him come out here.
I'm requesting.
Feeling that things were getting out of hand, Deputy Kelly retreated to his patrol car to call his supervisor for guidance. That phone call revealed that this deputy did not know what to do, at least not about demanding ID from the passenger. Kelly explained over the phone that Mr. Estrada had contested the speed violation, which he alleged was only a charge and could not be proven until trial, and refused to produce identification. Kelly declared she was frustrated. Estrada kept citing Texas Penal Code 38.02 and seemed to be aware of his rights. He also noted that Mr. Estrada's vehicle had expired registration as another potential crime. But the core issue was the refusal by the passenger to produce his ID.
Good deal. Reese, I'm gonna be out here for a few minutes. Hello. Hey. I pulled this guy over 84 and a 70 on 119. I asked him for his driver's license and insurance, and of course are you aware of penal code, yada yada, all this and that. Well, he's got expired registration on the vehicle. Asked the passenger for his identification. He wouldn't give me his identification at all. He's asking for a supervisor to make location.
So you're asking for a supervisor to make location on a traffic stop?
Yes.
Where are they from?
San Antonio. I told him, that he's in violation of the law because he was speeding. He said, no, I was allegedly speeding. And I said, well, you also have expired registration. And he said that he hasn't been convicted of that, so there's nothing I can do about it.
Are they?
And I have no idea. It's two Hispanic gentlemen.
Two Hispanic?
Yeah, I told him, he could be arrested for the registration, and the vehicle could be towed. And
yeah,
he said and argued with me and said, no, I can't do that, and that I need to have. He's requesting a supervisor to make location.
Okay. Let me call Chief, tell him what's going on, and then I'll call you back.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
During the call, Deputy Kelly admitted that he didn't know, asking for verification that he, in fact, could demand ID from the passenger. Although he knew that Texas is not a stop and identify state. His superior, who knew the law much better, explained that while the officer had the authority to request identification, a passenger was not required to provide it without there being reasonable suspicion of a crime. Kelly's superior ordered him to continue and issue citations for speeding and expired registration. If he would not sign, They can arrest him, but they had no legal reason to detain or arrest the son due to failure to give ID.
What is going on is the driver, I went up, I introduced myself, this Deputy Kelly, blah, 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 and I asked him for his license and insurance. And he handed me his license. He hadn't handed me his insurance yet, and then I asked the passenger, I said, can I see do you have an ID or can I get your name and date of birth? And he goes, have I committed a crime, or am I suspicious of committing a crime? And I said, no. I said, but we check everybody that, we have the right to check anybody in the vehicle to, just to see if, to identify yourself, number one, see if you have any, if there's any issues or whatever, warrants or whatever. And he said, but have I committed a crime? And then the guy said, well, you're aware of penal code such and such and such? And I said, yes, sir, I am. And he said, well, you need to read over that, a little bit better or something. And I said, well, you also have committed a violation with expired registration. And I said, so you guys are being detained on a traffic violation, and that's why I'm asking for, identification for both of you. And he goes to say, I'm alleged, you're alleging, I haven't been convicted of the speeding violation. I said, but you do, have expired registration. He said, but the passenger's not. He's not driving the vehicle. Why do you need his identification? And I explained it to him again. He goes, well, I need your supervisor to come out here.
Well, supervisors are off.
Yeah.
She said, I'm not coming out.
Okay.
Get Mr. D or Brandon out there with you. Chief said, because at the time I got, I thought you said the guy hadn't provided an ID.
The driver gave me his identification. I ran him and he's clear.
Okay.
But there, he's being the passenger's not cooperating. They're driving 84 miles an hour in a 70 mile an hour zone.
1216 status?
Hang on one second. 1216, everything's okay. Can you have 1208 make my location, please? So, but the passenger's not cooperating.
Okay. Well, the passenger technically, we can request, but he doesn't have it.
Sure.
Okay. Tell the guy you're going to be cited for this and this. If he refuses to sign, tell him, okay, then you got to go before a magistrate. You're under arrest.
Okay. So if he refuses to sign the citation, then arrest him.
Right. And tow the vehicle, give the passenger a ride back to the office and let him sit there.
Okay. All right.
So tell him, you're waiting. You're still waiting on supervisors or whatever you want.
Kelly was still undecided about what he needed to do after hanging up. He received instructions from his dispatch center to take it easy, turn on his body camera, and get ready for what was sure to escalate. His indecision was apparent as he passed the instruction to stop the traffic, but not to provoke the ID discussion from the passenger.
Tell him you've been on the phone with supervisors. There's no supervisors on duty at this time. And stuff. Make sure your cameras are all rolling good.
Yeah.
Tell him, that we have the alleged speed. We have expired registration.
Yeah.
Okay, is his insurance good on the vehicle?
I don't know. I hadn't got his insurance card, and I just got on the phone with you.
Well, I called, ask dispatch on the radio and they can confirm his insurance.
Okay. 1216 County. Can you confirm insurance on that vehicle?
Insurance is confirmed, expires May 16, 2018.
Receive.
Hey, Chief, call me.
Okay.
Therefore, the scene has highlighted the necessity of knowing the rights, especially during a traffic stop. Mr. Estrada calmed down the officer with which he questioned him and quoted the law to the contrary. In this way, he not only took the ground from the officer, but also diminished the officer's confidence because he was up against two persons who knew their rights well. During the tension, Mr. Estrada noted that he retained control of the situation, reinforcing the fact that the police officers should operate within the laws while maintaining people's rights even in ordinary traffic stops. For Gilbert Estrada, a very traumatic stop on the street by the police kindled a discussion on why people, on many occasions, tend to refuse handing over identification to police. Many in the viewing audience may want to ask, why not give in? Why not hand over your ID to the officer and go on with life as normal? Mr. Estrada has likened this predicament to taking the red pill in The Matrix. Once you know the truth about the law, there is no returning. He said that knowing one's rights is important because some officers, not all, are so used to working under the old paradigm of obedience, where citizens just shut their mouths and take it. According to Estrada, once you have learned the law, particularly in situations where rights may be violated, you can't just let go of that knowledge. Even if it would mean being arrested, he would go to such an extent as to protect his rights, while others would naturally identify with the easier way out, just hand over the ID and move on. Estrada insists that in such a case, such law must be followed and respected. He brought it to the attention of his son very clearly that though he is not afraid of standing up for their rights, he still wishes that the child would yield to the policeman to avoid physical harm if it escalated into aggression. The stop of the traffic began with Deputy Michael Kelly pulling over Estrada's vehicle for allegedly speeding.
Alright, this was going on. I pulled these guys over 84 and a 70. Approached the vehicle, introduced myself, told him, so he handed me his ID. He never gave me his insurance card. So I asked the passenger, hey, do you have any identification on you or anything? Can I get your name and date of birth? And he kind of sits back in the corner and is like, am I committed of a crime? And I was like, no, sir, you're not at this time, but we do check everybody in the vehicle and make sure they don't have any local warrants or anything. And, he said, well, do I have to? I said, well, I'm asking you to identify yourself. Can you identify yourself? And then this guy, the driver, are you familiar with Penal Code 36, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then I noticed that the registration's out. So, I tell him, the kid kept arguing with me saying, well, I'm not, under arrest or I'm not, suspected of any crime, so I don't need to identify myself. I said, well, actually, sir, you're in violation. You're with two violations. I said, one for speeding. He said, allegedly speeding. He said, I haven't been committed to that yet. And I said, you're driving a vehicle to expired registration, which is an arrestable offense, so I could arrest you for it. And he goes, no, that's not an arrestable offense. And I said, yes, sir, it actually is. I said, only two are non-arrestable offenses are speeding and open container. But he kept arguing, blah, blah, blah. Right, law enforcement? I don't know. I want to speak to your supervisor. Can you have him come out on location? So I called Carver, told him what was going on. And he told me to have one of y'all make location. And, if the guy refuses to sign the ticket, he said arrest him. And since the other guy didn't identify himself, tow the vehicle and have that guy take him back to the office and just let him sit there until he gets a ride.
As far as the passenger, now if there is, my understanding is if there is no there, that's fine.
True. That is true. It is true. Yeah. He doesn't have to identify himself. I'm just gonna go up there and say, look, you're gonna get a citation for this. If he refuses to sign it, then he said put one of them in your car and one of them in mine and haul him in.
Yeah, because you told him that by signing it is because of promise.
Yeah.
When Deputy Kelly returned, he issued citations to Estrada, who complained that he was being coerced into signing the ticket. To this, he says that his signature was not voluntary because there was a threat of arrest. The conversation between these two persons indicated the tension behind the stop. Estrada insisted on his rights, while Kelly insisted on the necessity of the citation.
Alright, sir. I need you to sign here across the top. It's not admission of guilt, just stating you'll contact the court on or before the 22nd of February.
Alright. Just a quick question. What happens if I don't sign it?
Well, you're refusing to sign, you'll go to
No.
jail.
I go to jail.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm just trying to get across, my signature is not going to be voluntary. It's going to be on the...
Well, it's just a promise that you're going to contact the court. That's what your signature is promising.
But my signature is not voluntary. I'm doing it because if not, you're taking me to jail.
Okay.
That's the only way.
Well,
that's the only reason I'm signing this.
Okay. You're signing saying that you're going to go to court on or before this date. That's what your signature, regardless if you want to sign it or not.
Okay.
That's what that signature is for.
Yeah, just for the record, my signature is not voluntary, and I'm signing this because if I don't sign, you take me to jail. That's
Okay.
what you said.
What you're doing when you sign that is you're promising that you're going to go to court, regardless if you volunteered or not.
Well,
Okay.
I'm saying my signature is not voluntary. My signature says I'm gonna go to court,
Yes,
but my signature is not voluntary.
but that doesn't make any. I don't understand what you're saying.
What I'm trying to say is you're making me sign it because if no, I go to jail.
No, I'm asking you to sign it. It's up to you whether you want to sign it or
Okay,
not.
It's under it's under threat, duress, and coercion. I mean, if I don't sign it, I go to jail. That's the only reason.
Well,
I'm
if you
signing
don't
it.
go to court, you go to jail.
Yeah. But right now, if I don't sign, I go to jail right now.
Yeah, so basically all this is saying is you're going to go to court. If you don't go to court, then you get a warrant and you go to jail.
Sir, you're hearing, but you're not listening, sir. So he's saying that if he doesn't sign it, you're threatening to take him to jail.
No, I'm not. No, what I'm saying, okay, he would go to jail and be magistrated because either way, you're going to get magistrated.
Sure.
Okay, so either way, it's either do it now or do it later, however you want to do it. Either you go see a judge now, you either go see a judge now or you go see a judge later. So it's however you want to do it. Okay? All right, here's your ID.
He stayed the course and eventually was charged with reckless driving, speeding, and expired registration. But after closer inspection of the incident, it was dismissed. There was a point in time where Estrada kept asking for the video footage from the traffic stop, which brought light on discrepancies of the deputy's account of events. A year later, Gilbert Estrada reflected on how he should have prepared and handled encounters with the police in small towns. He cautioned that by questioning officers' routines and their ability to be in control, people can expose mistakes and inaccuracies that may arise during traffic stops. Estrada said that once officers are pushed out of their scripted interactions, they might, unbeknownst, reveal inconsistencies in their statements.
Threat, duress, and coercion. They don't understand that. They say that, no, I mean, I'm just asking you to sign. It's not admission of guilt. That's their out. It's not an admission of guilt. Just sign here. Yeah, but by me signing here, I'm agreeing to whatever you're trying to press on me. And, the way I think about it is I tell the officer, hey, give me $100. He's going to say, no. Well, give me $100 or I'm going to beat you up, put you in my car, and take you into a cage. Are you going to give me the $100? I'm not forcing you, but this is what's going to happen. So you're going to give me the $100 or not? That's what they don't understand. They think, hey, I'm not threatening you. I'm just asking you to sign. It's not voluntary. You're threatening me with jail. And if I resist enough, you're going to pull your gun and you're going to use any force necessary to take me to jail. And once they realize that, they start to hesitate. But that's why I always try to make that point. My signature is not voluntary. Signing on the threat, duress, and coercion. So you know, and so it stays on the record, on the camera. Prosecutors don't care about that. They say, hey, it's not fatal to my case. We're going to proceed. But any contract or anything that you sign under threat, duress, and coercion is not valid under the law. But
He also emphasized the importance of obtaining video recordings of the stops. This not only documents the encounter, but will also show the prosecution that you are willing to fight the case, thus probably discouraging them from prosecuting minor offenses due to the cost involved in the prosecution process.
But the video from the sheriff's office, they were hesitant. They didn't want to give it to me, and it went like about 3 months. I mean, like, hey, haven't received the video, haven't got a court date. I will contact you. Are you gonna proceed with this? What's gonna happen? So finally, a judge calls me and tells me, hey, you know what, Mr. Estrada, we're gonna drop the ticket. Do you still want the video? And I was like, what's going on here? So I said, yeah, I want the video. And she tells me, you know we're gonna drop the ticket. Yeah, but you still want the video. So I went and picked up the video. Once I saw it, I knew what happened. I knew the officer messed up. He lied a couple of times on the video, and that's why they dropped it. So I just took the video, uploaded to YouTube. Nothing happened for a couple of years, almost 3 years, and somebody picked it up, and he went, you know, you saw it, and a lot of people are seeing it. So that's
In closing, Estrada expressed gratitude for the lessons learned through this experience, though he emphasized the importance of knowing their rights and standing firm against unlawful demands. Indeed, his insights remind us that, while perhaps going the easy way may sometimes be the most compliant and easiest route, understanding the law and standing your ground can make a tremendous difference in traffic stops.
is the way I find out that it works best. Police officers are trained to do the same thing over and over. Driver's license, registration, and insurance. And then, you know, they give you the speech, hey, I pulled you over for this, this, and that. I'm officer so. So once you throw them out of their script, then they're going to start to make mistakes. They are going to start to either tell you a lie. So I always ask them if they pull me over for speeding, how accurate is your radar? They're going to tell you it's 100% accurate. Well, I asked for the owner's manual of the radar. Nowhere in the owner's manual says that the radar is 100% accurate. And in fact, it has several instances where it says the radar can be thrown off because of radiation, another radar, blah, blah, blah. So once they tell you it's 100% accurate, they're lying. I asked them also, have you read your owner's manual for your radar? And I have a video. Officer Reyes, I asked him that. I asked him, hey, have you read your owner's manual? And he answers me, have you? I said, yes. So they don't even study the owner's manual for the radar. How accurate is your radar?
What's that now?
How accurate is your radar?
It's very accurate. If it's not accurate, then I wouldn't use it.
100%?
Yes, sir.
Have you read the owner's manual?
Have you?
I have.
Okay.
I have read it. It doesn't say it is 100% accurate anywhere on the owner's manual. Anywhere.
Well, here's the thing. We calibrate it before and after every shift.
Yes, it can be calibrated.
We also do internal calibration.
Yeah.
And if it does not work, then I do not use it.
Well, the thing is, have you read the many things that can affect your radar? There's many things that can affect the reading on your radar.
Sir, I'm not going to argue with you.
No, I'm not arguing. I'm just trying to see if you're aware of the things that can happen to your radar.
We're not going to have court on the side of the road.
I'm not doing that.
Okay.
I'm just trying to get to see if you're familiar with the owner's
If
manual.
I didn't know how to use it, I wouldn't.
Roughly a year after the traffic stop involving Gilbert Estrada, Deputy Michael Kelly made the decision to leave the DeWitt County Sheriff's Office. On January 2, 2019, he departed on positive terms to pursue a career opportunity with Expat Oilfield Services. This transition seemed to signal a new chapter in his professional life, one filled with potential and promise. Tragically, just over 2 weeks later, on January 19, 2019, Deputy Kelly's life was cut short when he died in a single-vehicle crash near Nordheim, Texas. He was only 40 years old at the time of his passing. This sudden loss not only impacted his family and friends, but also the community he served, leaving behind a legacy of service as a law enforcement officer. The circumstances surrounding his departure from the sheriff's office and his untimely death serve as a poignant reminder of the unpredictability of life and the profound consequences that can follow even the most routine interactions.